Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad new Fangled motion picture show.
So, I know I've said it's the end of an era at the beginning of a lot of reviews lately.
One or two, anyway.
It's been a few. But this one definitely feels like finally they're actually not gonna make any more.
Yeah, the way it ends, we'll get to that in the spoiler portion, but yeah.
We're, of course, talking about Toy Story 4. The latest cash grab attempt from Pixar and Disney. And boy howdy, is it grabbing a lot of cash.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I'm Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And we're going to do a spoiler-free review of this movie. And this is a pretty big deal thing at the very end of the movie, so,
yeah,
definitely going to avoid spoiling it in the spoiler-free review. And we're going to give a spoiler warning, and we're going to get more in-depth into the movie after that. So, you'll have plenty of warning before we go in and just straight up ruin the end of the movie. So, yeah, this is a Toy Story movie with Keanu Reeves in it.
Yeah.
And Key and Peele.
Yep.
Who were probably the funniest characters in this movie.
Yeah, they were. Keanu Reeves is pretty funny too. Duke Kaboom.
Yeah. It's like a Canadian version of that Evel Knievel toy. That was like the motorcycle that you push the plunger down and it launches the motorcycle up. And you're supposed to jump off a ramp and stuff. And that was... I had heard that was meant to be a surprise. That Keanu was in the movie at all.
Really?
Yeah. And then it got leaked. And then Disney was like, welp. Now that everyone knows anyway, might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And because Keanu Reeves is hot right now. I mean, everyone loves Keanu. And I'm a Keanu hipster. I liked Keanu before it was cool to like Keanu. I liked Keanu when everyone was making fun of Keanu.
Yeah, they're all like, whoa. That was everyone's impression of Keanu. Whoa.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
A lot of people bashing up Neo and Theodore Logan together. But anyway. So, yeah, for weeks now, I've been talking about how I didn't think they should make a Toy Story 4. I wish they hadn't made a Toy Story 4. I thought 3 was like... I thought that had enough finality to it. That's where they should have ended it. But I also said that it's probably still going to be a good movie. And it was. It was very... I mean, it's Toy Story, so it's very heartfelt. Get you right in the feels at certain points.
This time they're dealing with some existential crises.
Yeah, it's a bit heavy. The theme of this movie is a bit heavy for children, but I mean the Toy Story
gets kind of dark in places.
Yeah, well, the Toy Story series as a whole is kind of that way.
Yeah,
a lot of the themes of the movies are like when you watch it as an adult, you're like, whoa, this was a kids movie. And
this movie's PG. God, it's pushing the boundaries to PG-13 at times.
Yeah, well, remember in the first one when all those horrifying nightmare toys come crawling out in Sid's room and just ugh. And but yeah, and the third one had that conveyor belt going to doom or whatever, and yeah, that was a whole thing. But this movie continues the trend of having topics that are frankly probably too deep for children to really appreciate.
Yeah.
And a lot of trying to pull you back to remind you of when you were a child going through maybe some of these things that Bonnie is going through.
Yeah, but not just Bonnie. There's things like the toys go through that they almost use the toy relationship with the child as almost like a parent and child relationship, where the toy is kind of a parent replacement, and then having to let go of your adult child,
and
move on. There's a lot of that
Definitely,
sort of
like I
stuff
said,
in there.
definitely a lot of stuff that's really too heavy, I think, for children to really fully appreciate. But anyway, so this movie, um, oh, something else that was weird about this movie didn't have a short.
Yeah, there's
Pixar movie with no short at the beginning.
Yeah, they usually have a short. There wasn't one. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the runtime was long enough as it was. It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't have anything ready because they're planning a bunch of shorts for the Disney Plus or streaming service.
Well, a couple of.
Well, there's a series that's like 10 episodes long, and then there's a couple of shorts,
right,
that are all Toy Story based. They're little side story things. So maybe they were just working on that stuff. They just didn't have time to do a short. But anyway, the movie was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I think it was better than the third one.
It was definitely better than the third one.
I don't know about either the first two. It's been a long time since I've seen the other ones. I'd have to watch them to really judge it for that. I mean, but it was pretty good. Of course, the animation is amazing, and there's a lot of Easter eggs. Easter eggs in this because there's so much background stuff. This, when you see the movie, we'll talk about in the spoiler. But there's a place that has just a lot of stuff in it, and so there's little Easter eggs throughout.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. But yeah, this movie it's good. I think it's a good send off for the series. Apparently, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen have said that this is the last Toy Story,
and they also broke down in tears when they finished when they wrapped up recording their voices.
Yeah.
I think they were doing it together.
Well, it makes sense. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, recommend going and seeing it. I mean, let's be honest, everyone's gonna go see this movie. Everyone's gonna see Toy Story. The biggest. I mean, this might be the biggest, like, cartoon IP that Disney has at the moment.
Yeah,
like I think Toy Story might have more draw than what's probably
Mickey Mouse.
Well, when's the last time they made a Mickey Mouse movie?
Right, but I mean they do have new Mickey Mouse cartoons running.
Right. Well, I was referring specifically though to like their movie properties.
Oh, as far as movies go?
Yeah, because like I think the next biggest thing is probably Frozen.
Yeah.
And that's. Although, man, Toy Story is gonna have to work hard to beat Coco. That made this so much money.
Coco was really good though.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Toy Story, so you have this star-studded cast. Everyone, all the voice acting is great. All the jokes land.
Well, for Potato Head, they had to piece together his performance from recordings of Don Rickles from other from like other stuff that Pixar had, but they even went to like other roles and stuff to draw from.
Yeah. Well, I think it would have been in poor taste to have an imitation.
A replacement for...
Especially if it's for the one movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, apparently his family asked if Pixar could do that instead of replacing him.
Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, go check this movie out. Obviously, it's Toy Story. It's the last Toy Story. So.
Yep. And it was entertaining. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I didn't have any complaints about the movie.
Key and Peele were pretty funny in this.
They were really funny. So spoiler warning?
Yeah, spoiler warning.
Okay. So, Woody's now a lost toy.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're lost if you leave on purpose.
Well, the child has lost the toy.
That's true.
And
So
that's the defining factor.
Woody, so Woody's having a crisis in that Bonnie is less interested in playing with him than a lot of her other toys. Particularly, she prefers Jessie over Woody, and it's not that Woody's jealous so much as he's not used to not being played with.
Right.
And that's bothersome. And he keeps comparing Bonnie to Andy, which isn't healthy.
No.
And he even slips up a few times and calls her Andy. Or once or twice. Maybe once.
Yeah, it's like
he calls her Andy.
That's like calling out someone else's name during sex.
Yeah. So anyway, he obviously hasn't gotten past Andy being out of his life. And on this road trip that they go on, and Bonnie takes a lot of her toys along, he finds Bo Peep, who had been, when he was still Andy's toy, Bo Peep had been sold off to a collector. Because she's just really just a lamp.
Yeah.
And they hadn't seen her in years. I think they said like 9 years or something.
Something like that.
And anyway, he finds her.
He finds her lamp.
He finds her lamp, yeah, in an antique shop at this town that they stop in for the night, and he goes looking for her, and he gets caught up in this whole thing. There's a doll in the antique shop who was cast aside because her voice box is defective, and she came out of the factory defective, and so she never had a child because the moment they found out, she was thrown away. So she never had anyone play with her, and so she's trying to get Woody's voice box.
Yeah.
She has the record for hers, so it'll still, but it won't play. Anyway, so he runs into Bo Peep, and so they reconnect. And at the end of it, Bo Peep is happy being a lost toy, having the freedom, that being a lost toy means, and so Woody decides to stay with her at the end of the movie.
Yep. And so they've broken up. They split the party, and that never ends well.
So yeah, Woody and Buzz they hug it out there at the end because they're best friends.
Yeah.
And then he gives everyone a hug, and they all say goodbye.
This movie felt like it was lacking in the everyone except for Woody and Bo Peep department.
Yeah, like Buzz was in there the second most, but not as much as, like, it was very heavy on Woody and Bo Peep performances.
And honestly, not even that much Forky. He's out of it for a big chunk of the movie.
Yeah, so Forky, who's an interesting character, through whatever magic makes a toy, when Bonnie creates Forky out of garbage, a spork and some googly eyes and a wire, or a pipe cleaner and a popsicle stick or something, and he becomes a toy and he comes to life, and he's having this existential crisis because he's garbage. He's like, I'm supposed to be used to eat something and thrown away, and he's trying to basically be thrown away through this like whole montage of trying to get himself thrown away, and Woody trying to stop him because Bonnie really likes this toy she's made, and every time she can't find him, she gets upset. So Woody, though, is able to talk him into, Forky is simple enough that he's easily talked out of this, though, in that, he says, why do you want to go to the garbage? Well, it's warm and safe and inviting. Well, that feeling that you get from the garbage, that's the feeling you give to Bonnie. And he's like, oh, wow, I can't take that away from her. So he's all dedicated to being a toy now.
Yeah.
So that was easy, but he's not too bright.
Yeah.
But he's pretty funny. this town they stop in has a carnival going on, and so that's where Key and Peele's character, Ducky and Bunny,
who are two stuffed animals that are like physically attached to each
they're
other.
sewn together by the hand.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're a prize and a not a ring toss, but like a.
or no, it's the water squirt.
It's the suction cup.
Oh yeah, you got to shoot the suction cup at the target.
Yep.
So
they're a prize at that, and Buzz gets found on the ground by the guy running that booth, and so he zip ties Buzz up to the prize wall, and they're all pissed because they're like, "Oh, you think you can come in here and just take our top prize position?" And Buzz is like trying to tell him he doesn't want to be there. He already has a kid, but so Buzz, like, that's how they get roped into everything, is when Buzz escapes,
they go chasing
after him because they're petty like that.
Yeah, but there's this one part where they're in the antique shop, and the owner has a cat, and everyone's like, big deal, it's just a cat, we can avoid a cat, and like, not this cat, and they point, and the cat like walks away and leaves behind the remains of a plush toy that's been torn apart, and they're just like, oh, is that what we look like on the inside?
Yeah.
They're just like horrified by this.
Yeah, they're pretty funny character, probably the funniest characters in the movie. There's some parts that just where certain jokes land really well, but they're overall the funniest characters. This movie has Carl Weathers in it.
Yeah, well, it's Combat
awesome.
Carl. You might remember he was Combat Carl in one of the Toy Story shorts.
Right.
And Combat Carl Jr. Because Combat Carl is the 12-inch figure, and then Combat Carl Jr. is like the 4-inch figure. G.I. Joe replacement. But yeah, that was pretty fun. There's 3 of them. And then there's like the jungle camo and like a desert camo and an Arctic camo. And they all like high five, but the Arctic camo's always left hanging.
Yeah.
He never gets his high five.
Until the post-credits.
When Keanu Reeves' character, Duke Kaboom, gives him a high five. Good guy, Keanu.
Yep. But yeah, it's only fitting. I was like, oh, Duke Kaboom, he's a Canadian Daredevil toy. So naturally you're gonna end up with one of 2 people voicing him. It's gonna be Keanu or it's gonna be Ryan Reynolds.
Duke Kaboom's pretty funny because all these toys that are in the antique shop, they all have like this issue where they were thrown away, and his problem, his owner was given him. He was given to his owner on Boxing Day. This is Canada, and was it like Philippe or something like that?
It was some French name.
And he was upset because he didn't do the stuff that he's shown doing on the commercial, which was common, but this was particularly like an issue with the Evel Knievel toy, which this is parodying. I knew
someone who had that Evel Knievel toy.
Yeah, and it really didn't do anything.
Well, they didn't have the launcher, so the best we could do is like sort of push it, which is probably better than that launcher could actually do anyway.
So the kid discards him like right away. And he's just like torn up over this. He's like, "No, Philippe, don't you know? It's just a commercial." Or whatever the kid's name it was. But yeah, he makes a jump at the end that's really far, and he's like, "This one's for you, Philippe."
Yeah. But yeah, this movie has a lot of, like I said, has a lot of jokes that land really well. Particularly once they get to that town where the carnival is. There's a lot of setup at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
They got to show you how Bo Peep got sold off. And they've got to show you, how Bonnie's starting school and that's scary for her and whatnot.
Yeah, and then how Woody just can't cope. He's not coping real well with not being the top toy. anymore.
Yeah, well, and I think what it is he has such an obsession with making sure that his kid is safe and happy that he can't. And when he's not the one being played with all the time, he's being stuck in the closet. He can't do that.
Yeah, that's true. But also there's several instances where that obsession of getting back to her, making her happy, makes him take some serious risks that endanger everyone around him.
Yeah,
as well. And then but yeah, there's a lot of personal crises going on with the toys. There's this funny gag where Woody is talking about, like, to Buzz about why he does these things for Bonnie, because, like, his conscience tells him he needs to do these things, and Buzz doesn't quite understand. He's like, it's that inner voice. And so Buzz thinks he's talking about the voice box, and Buzz has his own voice chip. And so every time he's like, questions, what should I do? He pushes the button, and, it gives, like, return to base. He's like, oh, I gotta get back. And so throughout the movie, he's like pushing the button and doing what the button says.
Yeah. Well, and because Buzz lost his memory in the third one. He got factory reset.
Right.
Where he got set to Spanish language mode at one point.
Yeah.
So yeah, he doesn't have all the memories of Andy to really be able to like understand where Woody's coming from.
Yeah.
So but yeah, this, like I said, really heavy themes about, like, existential crises, especially because Forky's basically an affront to God.
Well, there's a lot of cyberpunk style transhumanism going on.
It's basically, Forky's basically an abomination, let's be honest.
Well, Bonnie created life, let's face it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
He's a Frankenstein monster.
Not as bad as creating a person from another person, though.
No. I'd actually kind of forgotten about that.
About Gemini Man? Oh, I'm not going to let you forget about Gemini Man. Although it looks like once we see it, it's probably going to be a pretty forgettable movie.
I was the one obsessing over that line, so...
Yeah. But anyway, I think that's really all I have to say about this movie.
Yeah, and then, again, this feels like definitely the last of them, because they've split up Woody from the rest of the party. Woody and Buzz are not... Unless they'd have to come up with some really contrived way for everyone to reunite.
Yeah, and like I said, Tim Allen and Tom Hanks have said that this is the last Toy Story. So, which it really should. All the Toy Story movies have been good. I think 2 is probably my favorite out of all of them. But at this point, it's just like, guys, can you do something else? The new stuff that Pixar has been doing, except for The Good Dinosaur, has been great. Coco was great. Inside Out was great.
This new, I forget what it's called, but this fantasy world, it looks pretty funny.
Yeah.
And when I gotta figure when you put,
Tom
Holland and Chris Pratt together, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah. It can't not be funny. So, anyway, so what's our next movie? Yesterday, right?
Yesterday
is our next movie. Then after that, Spider-Man. Speaking of Tom Holland,
my favorite Spider-Man.
He's definitely he's the best all-around Spider-Man.
Best live-action Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I'll put that together.
He's the best actor for this Spider-Man overall. I do think that Tobey Maguire played a perfectly fine. I would even say a good Peter Parker. And then I thought Garfield played an acceptable Spider-Man, but didn't really give a shit about him as Peter Parker. So, but this far from talking's hard sometimes. Far From Home looks really good. And then we'll be seeing Stu. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that out a little before the release. We'll see what happens. Sort of depends on our schedule that week. And then we're probably going to see The Art of Self-Defense. There won't be anything if we see Stuber early. It's the
It
only
might
other
be
thing
it
that
might
week.
be a limited release, so I don't know when we're gonna actually.
The Art of Self-Defense.
Yeah, I have to check on that. It might be a limited release.
Yeah. And then Lion King, which will probably be another good movie because it's a remake of a really good movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood ends July for us, and that looks. I'm actually really excited for that movie. All the trailers I've seen for it have just been really great.
Whew, that's a long runtime.
159 minutes? Yeah, it's no Endgame, though. But aren't all Tarantino movies pretty long?
Usually.
Hobbs and Shaw, which we're gonna go see because there's nothing else that week, but that movie just looks like, I don't know, that looks like the kind of movie of someone who's just like, what can I get away with putting into a movie? Into a dumb action movie.
Yeah.
What's oh boy, that Angry Birds movie looks bad. That Playmobil movie looks really bad. Angel Has Fallen looks bad. Man.
I mean, how many times you gotta risk your life to save the president before people believe that you're,
So,
not the guy trying to kill the president?
alright, is the Playmobil movie coming out on August 16th or August 30th? Because they have it listed for both on IMDb.
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, and then Rambo Last Blood in September is like the next thing after Hobbs and Shaw. So I mean that's like a month without anything worth watching. Unless you're into horror movies, because It Chapter 2, if you like horror movies, it looks like a really good horror movie. Yeah, whew, man. Be prepared, Nolan. We're gonna hit a dry spell there for a bit.
We got the Joker after that.
Yeah. We're seeing Gemini Man.
I suppose we are.
Yeah. You're the one obsessed over the line.
I'd actually kind of forgotten about it till you brought it up.
Yep. I
When I heard they were doing an animated Addams Family, I got really excited. Then I saw the trailer, and I don't care.
Yeah, kind of indifferent. I mean, it's got Oscar Isaac in it, though.
And Chloe Grace Moretz, she's good. I mean, I like the cast. When I heard they were doing an animated Addams Family, I thought, that sounds great. Then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, that looks awful.
Yeah. But anyways, that's what we got coming up. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, go ahead and subscribe if you want. I don't know that it even does anything. I don't think it does anything.
Doesn't do
that voodoo that you do
so well
on YouTube anymore, so and then yeah, check out our other reviews. We just put one up for
Shaft.
Shaft was episode 100.
Yep.
So I'm told. I haven't counted it myself. I'll just have to take your word on that. And the one just before that was Men in Black.
Yep.
Okay. All the movies start to run together after a while, so. And yeah. Let's get more Carl Weathers and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Combat Carl spinoff.
I'd watch it.
I want to have like
on Disney Plus.
Oh, it would be great. Is if it's like you see like they did in like old other Toy Story movies where you would see what Andy's seeing in his head, You know, so you have these like Combat Carl like going through the jungle and
Oh yeah, there was
stuff,
that.
and then like it cuts back and it's just like the kid's like just like moving them through the grass in the yard or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there was that whole sequence. I think it was the beginning of the second one, or maybe it was the third one with the giant ham airship, and it drops the barrel of monkey's bomb, and
Yeah, something like that. But like it's all Combat Carl.
I think it was the beginning of the third one. Also, the one with Dictator Ham reviewing the troops.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, check out our other reviews. Check out what we got coming up. Hopefully, we'll get that Stuber video up a little early.
Let's hope.
When that comes up. So, until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Toodles.
Yep.